And Vondroušová and Jabeur will walk out under the roof into centre court for the ladies' singles final. A raise of the left arm from Jabeur. Less emotion from Vondroušová. Doing this on centre court for the first time on the second Saturday, but remember, she has been a silver medalist at the Olympic Games and also a runner-up to Ash Barty in the French Open of 2019. Photographers in place, camera crews from around the world too, and in a moment we will have the coin toss here on centre court. On a fairly gloomy afternoon, lights available if we need them because the roof is closed, and that is because of the yellow weather warning in place, particularly because of concerns about the strong winds. This will be a final played under the roof as Ons Jabeur and Markéta Vondroušová walk into the middle, and we'll be underway with the formalities in just a moment, Gigi.
Cannot wait for this final, seventh meeting between the two, a second on the grass, a first here at Wimbledon, and at 1 minute past 2, with every ball of the women's singles final to come. Let's get some news headlines for you here on 5 Live with Dan Maudsley.
Listen on BBC Sounds. This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Thanks very much. Good afternoon. Red alerts have been issued for 16 cities across Italy as extreme heat continues to affect southern Europe. In Greece, the Acropolis in Athens has been closed during the hottest part of the day to protect visitors. Councils in England and Wales are calling for a ban on disposable vapes by next year. The local government association says 1.3 million are thrown away each week. At least 22 people have been killed by deadly flooding in South Korea. A third day of downpours triggered landslides and caused a major dam in the central North Chungcheong province to overflow. And a man's been charged over the deaths of 3 women in New York State over a decade ago. Rex Hoyman, who's 59, is also a suspect in a 4th woman's death.
BBC Sounds.
It's 30 years since the birth of the scene that put the best of Britain on the world stage.
Britpop.
Join us to chart its rise and fall.
I'm not in it to be cool, I'm in it to get to the top of those charts.
I've always wanted to do pop music because I love tunes and stuff like that.
Come on, come on, come on, get through it.
And celebrate one of the biggest bands of the 90s, Blur.
Search for Britpop.
Listen only on BBC Sounds.
Wimbledon 2023 on 5 Live
with Gigi Salmon.
The countdown is on to the first ball being struck in the 2023 Wimbledon Women's Singles Final. It's Ons Jabeur against Markéta Vondroušová with Kim Clijsters, Annabel Croft, Naomi Brodie and Russell Fuller.
And my first question to both Kim and Annabel will be, with the roof closed, who does that favour? Would it be Vondroušová because she has a little bit more power?
Well, I've been thinking about this quite a bit, actually. I mean, I'm actually quite grateful that they have closed the roof. I think it will make for better tennis and a better final. I think it's so gusty and it's almost sort of a hurricane-like out there. It's just horrendous weather to play tennis in. And the wind is such a great equaliser. I think it favours Ons Jabeur just a little bit, to be honest with you. I think... I mean, who knows who it's going to favour. I think that Vondroušová looks like she's been able to cope with an awful lot and she's got a very calm mentality towards anything that's thrown at her, to be honest. But I just think if it had been extremely windy, I think that would have got the jitters up on Jabeur just that little bit more, I think. I think it will enable her to flourish.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right, Annabelle. I think because it keeps some of the outside factors away from the match, the wind, and, sometimes if there's a little darker, but then the sun comes through, like the little different impacts that we won't have today. So I think it will just be another opportunity for Ons to just keep things really simple, not get distracted by a lot of outside things, because I do think if you look at who's a little bit more nervous between the two, I think it's Ons Jabeur. And then if you're a little bit more nervous, it's nice to not have those outside factors have an impact on you.
She does look significantly more tense than she did before the semi-final when we commented on just how relaxed she was. But this, after all, is the ladies' singles final at Wimbledon, and both players trying to create some history. Jabeur is hoping to be the first African and Arab female Grand Slam singles champion. Vondroušová, the first unseeded champion in the history of the ladies' singles at Wimbledon, and also the second lowest ranked champion in history. Serena Williams was seeded in 2018, but her ranking was 181 because she'd recently come back from the birth of Olympia. Ons Jabeur is the player who had the disappointment 12 months ago. This is her third attempt to win a Grand Slam final. And there have been disappointments at both Wimbledon and the US Open en route to this afternoon's centre court appointment.
Oh, another winner this time. And maybe Ons Jabeur is saying, yeah, that's just too good. And it absolutely was.
Super-powered Sabalenka. A Wimbledon semi-finalist. Too much power in the end for Ons Jabeur.
Championship point. Backhand return Jabeur. It's long. Elena Rybakina wins the Wimbledon title.
Championship point number 2. Jabeur with a forehand over, hits it, and it is game, set, and championship 1 for the world number 1, Iga Świątek.
I think stopped crying about last year's final because it is a very emotional one, and for me the main and important thing is to enjoy playing on a surface that I love so much.
And here she comes, the woman they call the Tunisian Minister for Happiness. She comes with a drop volley, and that is sweet by Ons Jabeur, racing into the third round. There it is, she knew it was good, it felt good off the racket, it's an ace that secures the win for Ons Jabeur.
That is it. Ons Jabeur, a finalist in 2022, is going to set up a replay of that final.
Jabeur has match point against the defending champ. And we're back in the nets. And Jabeur clenches a fist. Revenge is sweet for Ons Jabeur.
Ace! She's come from a set and a breakdown to return to the Wimbledon final. The players are in a hurry to get on with things here on Centre Court on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. The 4-minute warm-up is over. They, in theory, have 60 seconds to get ready for the match, but Ons Jabeur and Markéta Vondroušová are ready, and it's Jabeur serving first in front of the royal box, hitting a forehand to the forehand of the left-handed Vondroušová. Jabeur with the backhand slice, approaching the net, and what a glorious start by Markéta Vondroušová, who has landed a lob just 3 inches inside the baseline.
Well, that was spectacular, wasn't it? You could see just how nervous Ons Jabeur was. She was sort of prodding that first shot, but she came forward beautifully, and I think she was really willing that ball to go long, and it just landed inside that baseline. You could see the disappointment.
Second serve here for Jabeur at love 15. Vondroušová cross-court with the backhand. Jabeur down the line with the forehand. Vondroušová nets this time with the forehand, so the Tunisian is on the board. The runner-up at 2 Grand Slams last year. But what a run she's put together in the treacherous quarter of the draw. She's beaten 4 consecutive Grand Slam champions in Bianca Andreescu, Petra Kvitova, Elena Rybakina and Aryna Sabalenka, and 3 of those from a set down. So if she loses the first set of this final, by no means write off Ons Jabeur.
At the start of a match like this, it's, you know, when you feel like your breath is not quite under control, your arm might feel a little bit tighter or heavier than it usually does. It's just so important to just keep it to simple tennis and try to make a high first serve percentage, because there will be nerves on the other side of the court as well, and then try to get that first game under your belt.
Vondroušová's approach was called long there by the line judge, but it's been overruled by our chair umpire, Louise Azamar-Engzel, so the point will be replayed at 15-all on the Jabeur serve. Our Swedish chair umpire might be officiating her first ladies singles final at Wimbledon, but she was in charge of the gold medal match at the London 2012 Olympics, which were also staged on this centre court. Jabeur's miscuing the backhand, and she certainly hasn't yet settled as she would have liked in this Wimbledon final.
No, she looks absolutely shackled with nerves at the moment, and you can always tell because she's such a flowing tennis player and everything looks a little bit disjointed at the moment and movements a little bit stiff, but I'm sure she'll get going if she can just get up on the board.
That was a better first serve from Jabeur. She's now swinging the forehand cross-court. Down the line with the backhand Jabeur. Vondroušová reaching for it, just clears the net. The drop shot, angled, cross-court. Winner from Jabeur.
Just listen to the fans in the centre court here. Definitely going to get behind her.
Yeah, she's been able to create a really good connection with the crowd wherever she goes, but especially here at Wimbledon.
30-all. The umpire confirming to Jabeur that the call was out, but she's going to challenge it. Vondroušová won the toss, and elected to receive, so she's hoping she's going to get an early dividend from that decision.
I'm not so sure about this. I think it was out. Oh, I'm wrong. Wow. That was definitely worth a challenge. From our position.
She wants the point, Jabeur, but she's not going to get the point. She's going to get 2 serves and we'll replay the point from 30 all.
Her whole demeanour looks a little bit burdened at the moment, doesn't it? You know, normally such a connection with the crowd and everybody.
She has missed the first serve this time, though. Second serve at 30 all. Backhand into the net, Vondroušová, who's also beaten a number of seeds, as you'd expect, to reach this final. Veronika Kudermetova, Donna Vekic, Marie Buzkova, and then, impressively, from a 4-1 down in the deciding set, the 4-seed Jessica Pegula. It was Alina Svitolina who she beat in the semi-finals. Good serve down the middle from Jabeur, into the net with the return from Vondroušová, as centre court under the roof becomes a little bit brighter. The sun may be coming out outside, and given that she was so nervous there, Annabelle and Kim, she'll be delighted to have held on to her serve.
Yeah, a very important hold. She definitely, you can see from where we're sitting, you know, the arm is a little bit tighter, but then to get a couple of good first serves in and get some unforced errors from Vondroušová on the other side of the court definitely helps to kind of get settled and try to put a little bit of pressure now when Vondroušová is serving.
They have changed ends, so it's Vondroušová now in front of the Royal box. That first serve down the middle, she's got a mid-court ball. She hits to the back of the court with a forehand, and Jabeur nets, as well as those great Wimbledon champions in the Royal box. These two are also playing in front of the Czech ambassador, Marie Chatardova, and Tunisia's Minister of Youth and Sports, Kamel Deguiche, and Dame Maggie Smith as well, for good measure. Chipped return by Jabeur, cross-court with a forehand Vondroušová, backhand Vondroušová with plenty of air onto the forehand of Jabeur, and that's good enough to win her the point. Vondroušová rather flat-footed, can't time the forehand at all.
Yes, and also looked a little nervous herself and shaky with that first sort of slight miss-hit. As you say, it ballooned above the height of the net, and then not much movement going out to the forehand, which is always a sure sign that someone's got a lot of adrenaline running through their body.
15-all, great deep return by Jabeur. Defensive forehand from Vondroušová. Cross-court forehand Jabeur. Here's the lob from Vondroušová, just trying to buy herself some time. The bounce smash from Jabeur. Very cleverly done. Didn't hit that particularly hard, but a sliced bounced smash down the line. Winner. So 15-30. And maybe it's Jabeur who will create the opportunity to get the first break of serve. 7th meeting between these two. They've won 3 matches apiece. A sliced forehand from Jabeur. The drop shot from Vondroušová. The lob from Vondroušová is over the baseline.
Vondroušová really not taking a lot of time in between her points. Just kind of shrugged her shoulders a little bit, asked the ball boy for another ball, and on to the next point. She doesn't want to think in between the points right now.
She's 2 break points down. Forehand return into the net from Jabeur. She found a good, clean first serve there, Vondroušová, when she most needed it.
Such an awkward serve, isn't it? I mean, it's not the biggest serve, but it's just the way that the ball comes towards the right-hander, and it kind of does funny things to the racket face, and it's just tricky. Very uncomfortable.
Break point number 2. Jabeur slips as she returns on the backhand. She's up on her feet and she's back in this rally because Vondroušová has been rather kind to her there. Forehand Jabeur with the second break point. Backhand Jabeur. Forehand Vondroušová into the net. And that was a very tight-looking shot from the Czech player who's lost her opening service game in this ladies' singles final.
Yeah, that was a horrible forehand, actually, and that won't have felt very good. Jabeur doing so well, having slipped over to get back up quickly, but that forehand landed about halfway up the net, so she hasn't really settled at all yet. I think Jabeur's just she's kind of like playing carefully, isn't she? But I think it's just going to shake out all of that adrenaline.
Jabeur, 2-love in front. Excellent down-the-line approach from Jabeur. Now the drop shot, and Vondroušová is beaten. Good defence from the Czech player, but Jabeur completely on top of that point from beginning to end.
Yeah, and Vondroušová didn't even attempt to run for that. No sort of take-off speed or anything, just gave up on it.
A couple of matches ago, she hit a winner with that slice forehand on the run, but not today.
2-love, 15-love, second serve from Jabeur, and she's mishit the forehand.
15-0.
Markéta Vondroušová would be the first unseeded champion in Wimbledon history in the ladies' singles, but of course there have been many, many unseeded Grand Slam champions on the women's side in recent years. 2017, Jelena Ostapenko at Roland Garros and Sloane Stephens at the US Open. Iga Swiatek was unseeded when she won the French Open in 2020 as Vondroušová puts a backhand into the net. And then 2 years ago, we had both Barbora Krejcikova at Roland Garros and then Emma Raducanu at the US Open. 2-love, 30-15. Along with the first serve, Jabeur. She may be feeling horribly nervous still, but the scoreboard's looking encouraging for her in the early stages. Forehand return from Vondroušová. Vondroušova's forehand into the net, and that was another of those that barely made it halfway up the net.
It felt horrible. I mean, she's not really flowing at all at the moment. She's not getting hold of the ball, and Jabeur's just going to try and capitalise on what's happening at the moment.
Yeah, the forehand landed in the middle of the net. Right.
Very long, that first serve from Jabeur. But she has 40-15 here, so 2 game points for a 3-love lead after just 9 minutes of the final on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. Backhand Jabeur cross-court to the forehand of Vondroušová. That's onto the baseline and Jabeur nets.
It's a bit stilted at the moment, isn't it? Sort of staccato tennis, where both of them are just kind of trying to still get rid of all those nerves, try and start to get their tennis flowing a little bit better and get the rhythm going. He almost needs to whack a few when they're out on the serve and just kind of like try and release the racket face.
Game point Jabeur, second serve at 40-30. Forehand, excellent hitting from Vondroušová right onto the baseline. Jabeur can't make the return.
And that's exactly what Vondroušová did there on that return of serve. She teed off on it.
She must have heard you from up here.
Yeah, hit the corner junction, paid off. Ball toss looks really low, doesn't it, Kim?
It does.
It's got lower and lower in the last couple of matches.
But I feel like overall her tennis game has become a lot more compact, like her movements and her backswings and...
Forehand Vondroušová cross-court, Jabeur's backhand, Vondroušova's double-handed backhand. Now she's hitting much more fluently and she's got a break back point here, the 24-year-old from the Czech Republic.
I feel like in general, Vondroušová, her game is so hard to read.
Definitely.
What we just saw with this last shot, what we saw was like the higher top spin, deeper in the court. She can create angles, shorter angles. Just really tough to know what's coming off her racket.
Jabeur just missing that first serve. She is break back point down here. Backhand reply from Vondroušová. Jabeur cross-court with a forehand, skims the top of the net as it makes its way to Vondroušova's side. Forehand Vondroušová, forehand cross-court Jabeur. She's break point down. She's coming in to try and win the point with a drive volley. And it was very carefully struck again, but she landed it right in the corner of the court, right in front of myself, Annabel Croft, and Kim Kleisters in the 5 Live commentary box.
But really smart decision from Ons Jabeur to take that kind of loopy shot from the defensive shot from Vondroušová in the air with a drive volley, because otherwise if you let it bounce again, you give her time to recover back to the middle of the court. So a good variety with that drive volley.
Blocked forehand return by Vondroušová. Jabeur inside the baseline, hits a forehand winner.
Advantage. Jabeur.
Well, that backhand down the line did a lot of damage, didn't it? And she did that so well in that semi-final, started to get that shot really fired up.
Game point Jabeur, blocked back on the forehand by Vondroušová. Forehand long Jabeur, just a ball width too long. And we're back to juice for a third time. What a difference a year makes for Markéta Vondroušová. Had her left wrist in a cast still 12 months ago. Her second operation on that left wrist in the space of 3 years. It was out.
Second serve.
The crowd getting fully into these challenges though. supporting the players with the applause as we waited for the replay to show on the big screen. Down the line with a forehand, Jabeur. Down the line into the net, Jabeur with the backhand, and a second chance for Vondroušová to recover the early break against her.
Jabeur has 2 challenges remaining.
Well, I think Ons is going for a little bit more, isn't she? And trying to move the ball around a little bit. She's just still missing.
...111 miles an hour, that first serve, but it was into the net by Jabeur. So she'll have to try and fend off this break point with a second serve. Backhand return Vondroušová. Jabeur cross-court with a forehand, another one that just brushes the tape on its way to the Czech player and into the net with a forehand, Jabeur. And she's handed the serve straight back. Back on serve, Jabeur leading this final in the first set, Gigi, by 2-1.
Oh, it's nervy stuff. 13 minutes on the clock. Both players looking to win their first Grand Slam title. Back to the action very shortly. But to get to this stage, Ons Jabeur has beaten 4 Grand Slam winners. And she's been speaking about how she feels it has helped her prepare for the occasion.
I think this year the draw is much tougher. Playing against amazing players that not only they play good on any surface, but they play amazing on grass. That was very challenging, but also maybe it's a good thing that gives me more confidence to be ready for the final, and also getting that rhythm of playing, great tennis to be ready for the next match.
Bianca Andreescu from a set down in the third round. Petra Kvitova in the round of 16. Revenge for last year's Wimbledon final and a set down against Elena Rybakina. And she was a set and a break down near me against Serena Sabalenka.
She was, and I keep saying as well, I don't think she'd have come through that Sabalenka match had she not done all these improvements on her mentality that she's been speaking about, working so hard on. It's the last voice she talks to, isn't it? That mental coach of hers. She was out there on the practice court with her as well, and she's going to really need to pull all of that together today in this match, because they both look nervy at the moment.
Yeah, Russell, they certainly do. 14 minutes on the clock, start of the fourth game.
Markéta Vondroušová missing a forehand, so 1-2. Love 15, but it's being played still at a rate of knots this match. Jabeur with the backhand, that's too long. And she has the look of a tortured soul at the moment on Jabeur on this centre court.
This is times where you have to kind of fake it a little bit, right? You can make yourself believe that you're okay. Don't, we saw her bend over a little bit and kind of question, like, why am I feeling so tight? You can see it in her body language. But then when you just try to fake it a little bit, it's you can actually make yourself believe that you're feeling better. And
maybe that's what she needs to do right now. Forehand cross-court from Jabeur. Forehand cross-court once more to the slice backhand of Vondroušová. Oh, it's a bad miss from Jabeur. And there she is, slapping very aggressively 3 or 4 times her left thigh, having put a short approach into the net.
Yeah, it's the forehand that's letting her down, isn't it? Which is quite a weapon in her box of tricks that she brings out onto any court. But it's getting a little cramped, and it keeps on hitting the net, which will never feel good. I feel like she needs a really good long baseline exchange just to shake everything out and get that racket head free-flowing a little bit better.
30-15, second serve Vondroušová, forehand Jabeur, backhand Vondroušová down the centre. Jabeur's forehand to the forehand of Vondroušová. Forehand Vondroušová, Jabeur just behind the baseline, hits the forehand nice and deep. Backhand Jabeur, a slice backhand for Vondroušová. Forehand Jabeur cross-court. Vondroušová's just back behind the baseline. That enables Jabeur to play the low backhand slice. Plays the same shot now to the low backhand slice of Vondroušová. She's very happy to play like that all afternoon. What a fabulous rally. Down the line with the backhand. Jabeur, patient, waits for her moment and picks her spot.
Just better footwork as well, taking a little bit smaller steps to adjust herself before she needs to hit the shot. A couple of the mistakes earlier in the game is like she was a little bit slow with her feet. But that must have felt good to win a long point like that.
30-all. Vondroušová, excellent serve, chipped back by Jabeur on the forehand. Forehand Jabeur cross-court, right to the back of the court. Vondroušová on the defence here, but slides that one skillfully down the line. Forehand Vondroušová to the backhand of Jabeur. Slice backhand Vondroušová. Jabeur with the forehand cross-court. Vondroušová slices into the net.
Well, this is starting to look so much better from both of them. We're starting to get much longer points now.
30, 14.
Both of them look like they're easing up a little bit better.
Yeah, emotionally constipated is the phrase that comes to mind. Watching both of these players in the early stages of this final.
That's a good description.
I've never heard of that.
No, nor have I.
Oh, really?
You can use that one in future if you like.
Yeah, well, they need to loosen it up a bit.
Break point again for Jabeur. Second serve from Vondroušová. Forehand Vondroušová. It's very, very short. Jabeur conservatively into mid-court. Backhand Jabeur. Vondroušová now having to chase back behind the baseline to hit this forehand. Forehand from Jabeur down the line. Vondroušová slices the backhand. Jabeur's forehand to the slice backhand of Vondroušová. It's a drop shot. Jabeur with a drop shot into the tape. So close to getting a second break of serve in the first set.
The trouble is these opportunities keep mounting up, don't they? I mean, she had the 40-15 for the 3-love lead when her opponent was really quite shackled up. But her opponent's only getting better and better. And this was definitely another opportunity right here. Didn't quite get enough height on it. It wasn't too bad, though, the way she hit it.
No.
Deuce. 2-1 Jabeur leads. It's a break of serve apiece in the first set of this ladies singles final from Wimbledon on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. Jabeur with the forehand and Vondroušová into the net with the squash shot forehand. Having been pinned too far behind the baseline, a second break point opportunity
advantage.
of the game for last year's runner-up.
Well, she hit that ball beautifully just now. That was a very tricky shot off a very low slice, and she really committed to that forehand.
19 minutes played. Vondroušová puts a first serve into the net. Second serve, chipped back with some slice by Jabeur. Now she's got the passing chance and a target at the net, but she did not get hold of that backhand at all.
Oh, and again, planted her feet a little bit too early, was stuck.
Her facial expressions look so different today, don't they? She looks really tense and tight and sort of furrowed brow, and everything looked a little lighter than this in her previous matches.
The backhand from Vondroušová. Now the forehand from the Czech player onto the backhand of Jabeur. Backhand cross-court Vondroušová. Jabeur's forehand cross-court. A forehand from Jabeur, which is struck onto the baseline. A high backhand from Vondroušová, who now swings a backhand cross-court. Forehand Vondroušová. Jabeur with the backhand down the line. It's a winner. And the intensity of the rallies is improving now. And Jabeur has a third break point of this game.
Jabeur.
But it's always that inner voice, right? That you're fighting with, and the positive one, the negative one, and you just can't let that negative voice take over. That focuses a little bit more on the things that you're not doing well, that you're feeling tight, that you're more nervous, and you just try to talk to yourself almost a little bit like you're talking to yourself in the third person.
She's just blocked that forehand service return wide, Jabeur. So once again, Vondroušová saves a break point. If you're listening to us, but would also like to watch the final, then it is possible, both today and tomorrow, to sync up the 5 Live commentary with the TV coverage. You need to go to the iPlayer or the BBC Sport website or app to do that. Deuce once more in this game. Jabeur's forehand cross-court. Forehand from Jabeur down the line. Vondroušová with air on the forehand. Cross-court Jabeur. Defensive slice Vondroušová. Forehand into the net, Vondroušová. Again, very much on the back foot. She's finding herself too far behind the baseline for her liking, and this is breakpoint number 4.
It's so interesting when you watch Vondroušová's forehand, the height differences and variety that comes over the net, and that's something that Jabeur is having to adjust to many different things being thrown at her.
A long game, 4th break point, and that one's been saved too because Jabeur cannot make the backhand down the line pass.
That lefty serve, something, it's so it doesn't happen often that you play against a lefty, and then in moments like this where you're in the final and everything feels a little bit tight and your footing is not right, you'll miss some returns that you usually don't make.
Forehand return from Jabeur, trying to set up yet another break point. Here's the drop shot, which Vondroušová reads. The lob from Jabeur, the drive volley, Vondroušová.
It's bit dangerous, that drop shot, isn't it? Played by Jabeur. Just didn't have quite the feel.
Advantage.
Not at this stage when she's still so nervous. And Vondroušová up to it so quickly.
Yeah, anticipated well.
A point for 2-2 in the first set. Vondroušová to the backhand of Jabeur. Forehand Vondroušová down the centre. Jabeur's backhand to the forehand of Vondroušová. Jabeur carefully strokes the forehand and now plays the drop shot, and that was terrible. That was below the middle of the net. And all credit to Vondroušová, who lost the opening couple of games here, but having saved more break points on her own serve.
2 games all, first set.
Yeah, this should have been 4-0 to Ons Jabeur.
Absolutely.
She's managed to level at 2 games all.
Yeah.
Well, that's not going to feel great, is it? And, you know, when your opponent starts to raise their level down the other end, you know, it's even trickier, isn't it? Where she hasn't been able to capitalise on the early start here with opportunities.
2 games all. Jabeur with a forehand winner, stepping inside the baseline to hit that one away.
15-11.
So 12 months ago, I mentioned that Markéta Vondroušová had her wrist in a cast. She was actually here at Wimbledon as Jabeur misses the first serve, watching her best friend Miriam Kolegiova play in the qualifying competition of the singles. So had a few days break, did plenty of shopping, had a ride on the London Eye, and then went back to get married. Backhand Jabeur, forehand cross-court Vondroušová, drop shot Jabeur, and this one is fabulous. So nearly returned by Vondroušová, who covered the ground smartly, but has just hit that forehand into the net.
30-11.
"24 minutes played." They're playing at a very, very good pace, but we're having longer rallies and that very, very long game just now.
14,
this one may be a quicker one, though, because that's an ace. A white puff of dust as Jabeur hits the central service line. And these are 3 game points for a 3-2 first set lead.
Yeah, that will feel good for Ons Jabeur to maybe win an easier game.
Let's proceed.
Turns around swiftly. Knows a new ball will be heading her way. She has it now. That's thumped on the backhand return by Vondroušová. Great defence, though, from Jabeur, who's now playing a very, very high drop shot from a defensive position and cleverly just dinked down the line with a forehand for a winner by Markéta Vondroušová.
I have to say, the drop shot was spectacular from Ons Jabeur. Incredible sort of touch and feel, and it's starting to
and
get
from
there,
that position of the court.
Yeah.
It's so unusual.
Mind-blowing.
Jabeur with 2 game points remaining and missing a first serve. The feet of the ball boy covering quite a lot of ground to retrieve the ball and return to his position like a sentry guard in front of the royal box and behind Ons Jabeur, who's just stroked a forehand down the line to look after her serve. She leads 3-2 first set, Gigi.
Thank you very much, Russell. We've got a result for you in the first match of the T20 finals day at Edgbaston. Essex have beaten Hampshire by 5 wickets on the Duckworth-Lewis method. Surrey face Somerset in the second semi, starting shortly on 5 Sports Extra. Now, Markéta Vondroušová has the chance to make history today by becoming the first woman to win Wimbledon after being unseeded. Her fellow players are cheering her on, especially those from her native Czech Republic.
I talked with Bára Strýcová before the match. She's here, and I texted also with Karolina Muchová. You know, we are from the same club, so yeah. I mean, I feel like, you know, we just support each other. I also talked with Karolina when she was playing Paris, and I was crying so much after the final when she lost. So it was really sad, and I think it's just, you know, in Czech we have so many great players, and I think we also support each other. So it's very nice to see.
And Naomi, she's also got a busy box, and front and centre is a husband who's flown in.
He has. They've got the cat sitter in, so husband could finally come. And I'm so glad to see him here as well, because so many players are superstitious, aren't they? And maybe would have been worried to change the dynamic and have him here. But no, it's such a big event in her life. She wanted him here, and he's front and centre.
He certainly is. 27 minutes played, 5 games gone.
Markéta Vondroušová serving after the change of ends in front of the royal box, trailing by 2-3 in this first set of the ladies' singles final here at Wimbledon. Second serve. Backhand return from Jabeur. She's got a mid-court ball, which she hits cross-court for a winner, leaping off the turf to play that shot and win the first point against the Vondroušová serve.
Well, there was that loopier shot from Vondroušová, but that's the first time I'm starting to see Jabeur sort of just, I don't know, looking better.
Her personality is coming into her game now as well.
Took that really early, launched into it, both feet off the ground, and I just feel like this is going to be different now. She's going to start playing.
She has love 15 on the Vondroušová serve. Underneath the white visor, Vondroušová serve, slice forehand return from Jabeur. Vondroušová's at the net, the passing chance for Jabeur, and the volley is long. Vondroušová just pushing that backhand volley over the baseline.
Love 13.
It's getting brighter and brighter on centre court. You can sense that the sun is coming out outside that roof that's over the court.
Love 30 down. Vondroušová, who's been under constant pressure on her serve, has now sliced a mid-court backhand into the net, and these are 3 further break points for Jabeur. Break point number 7 faced by Vondroušová in total in just 3 service games. Save 4 in the last game, mind you. Forehand cross-court Jabeur. Forehand again from Jabeur to the forehand of Vondroušová, and that is a wild forehand. And Jabeur breaks to love. And she's a break-up once more in this first set with a 4-2 lead.
Jabeur leads by 4-2 first set.
Did you get your hug from Ons Jabeur, Kim, as was demanded before the semi-final?
I did. I did. Yeah, she seemed a little bit more nervous than usual before the match in the locker room, was sitting by herself, and I walked in and she kind of grabbed my hand. She's like, please take the stress out of me.
4-2 she leads, maybe feeling slightly better about life after that break to love. Good hitting here from Vondroušová though, with a forehand cross-court that lands on the sideline and forces Jabeur to net.
Love 15.
So you worried that you were going to be late for commentary, were you, the other day, when you had to take a detour to...
I was.
Give Ons Jabeur the hug that she requested.
Yeah, before her semi-final.
Forehand long Jabeur. This could turn back very quickly.
And I felt bad for the girl that was supposed to bring me to where I had to be, because I had to tell her, like, no, let's go this way so I can pass the locker room. And she's like, no, they're waiting for you. You really have to go. I'm like, just give me 1 minute.
This is more important.
Yes. I'm sure she appreciated it.
Love 30. Backhand Vondroušová down the line. Great ball striking. 3 break back points.
It's also hard to get into a rhythm. In the previous game, Vondroušová makes a couple of mistakes. Now she's right on top of the baseline again, playing aggressive tennis. It's hard to read her game at times.
Backhand return from Vondroušová. Forehand Jabeur. Vondroušová's forehand cross-court. Drop shot from Jabeur. Vondroušová slides the forehand down the line, and what a reply from the woman making her first appearance in the Wimbledon final. After being broken to love, she breaks back to love, and we're back on serve once again, Gigi.
Wow, well, they're shaking off the nerves, but would you believe back-to-back breaks to love? Half an hour exactly on the match clock. Back to centre court very shortly, but let's check in with Ian Carter at the Scottish Open. Ian.
Third round complete. Rory McIlroy will take a 1-shot lead into the final round tomorrow, which, like today, will be an early morning affair. Very high winds are forecast for tomorrow, so the players will be sent out very early, with the leaders going out around about 9 o'clock in the morning. McIlroy round in 67 today to move to 13 under. He's 1 ahead of Tom Kim, 2 ahead of 2 players, Brian Harman, the American left-hander, round in 67, and Tommy Fleetwood, who only just made the cut but was round in 63 today, 11 under par, just 2 shots behind.
Ian, thank you very much. We're going to be hearing from Rory McIlroy on 5 Live Sport a little bit later. Don't forget T20 Finals Day on Sports Extra. And the players are just coming out on Court 1 under the roof for the men's wheelchair doubles final, which features Gordon Reid and Alfie Hewitt. Hewitt winning through to the singles final a little bit earlier today, but our focus straight back to centre court.
Where Markéta Vondroušová, having broken back immediately, now needs to hold on to her own serve at 3-4. She puts her first serve there into the net. Just under 15,000 people making up a capacity centre court crowd Backhand reply, Jabeur. Slice backhand into the net, Vondroušová.
Jabeur is fortunate to be getting quite a few sort of interspersed unforced areas. I mean, there's some fantastic play from Vondroušová, but also it's just these sort of cheap points that she's gaining, which is definitely keeping her nose out in front.
Once Jabeur has quite wide stands when she's standing ready for the return. It's pretty unusual. You don't see that often.
Love 15, second serve. That's a double, it's a first serve because of the let, and that was long.
Yeah, I thought that was a double fault too.
Second serve, forehand reply, Jabeur, a miscue, wide.
15-0.
Not surprising given the run of break points against her, but Vondroušová has won only 37% of points on her first serve. That's a number that's going to have to increase significantly if she's to be the Wimbledon champion here this afternoon.
Right, but she's still 4-3 in this set.
Yeah, it's proving just about enough at the moment, but this is 15-all. This is a second serve, and that's a really powerfully struck forehand from Vondroušová. Great defence, though, from Jabeur. Now Vondroušová hitting the sideline, coming in to hit the drive volley. Jabeur with a forehand cross-score, but she was running at some pace and couldn't control the flight of that ball. It's gone long, and Vondroušová threatening to level this first set up once again.
Yeah, she's putting in some pretty deep baseline shots at the back of the court and really starting to put on Jabeur on the defensive and under pressure. She's sort of quietly getting better down the other end, isn't she?
I think we could see that against Jessie Pegula as well, where she was making a few unforced errors, but then when she had to in that third set after the break, she came out a completely different player.
The backhand long by Jabeur, so 2 game points, and it will indeed be level again at 4 games all in this first set. Vondroušová serving at 40-15, chipped back, but into the net by Jabeur. So they are taking it in turns to win 2 games at a time. Vondroušová's turn. 4 games all first set.
4 games all first set.
She must feel that she's the better player out here.
That's what it feels like, isn't it?
And still, it's 4-all, so it can be frustrating as well.
Jabeur serving once again, wearing the white bandana. Elected to practice for half an hour on centre court earlier because the final was going to be played under the roof, and both players were given the opportunity to do so. Long with the backhand, Jabeur, and she came out initially in black because that's what she'd been wearing on the Arangi practice courts, and was told you can't actually do that on centre court. So made a very swift retreat to the locker room, had a quick change, and then came out to practice for 25 minutes, half an hour or so. Markéta Vondroušová opting not to accept that invitation, feeling that she'd already completed her practice for the final. Nice bit of footwork there from Jabeur, returning the ball to the ball boy, but she finds herself love 15 down. This is a second serve, slice backhand Jabeur, Vondroušová slice backhand, Jabeur with the forehand, Vondroušová running onto the forehand. Now mid-court ball for Jabeur, and she's found the line. Backhand cross-court winner from the Tunisian.
15-0.
We're seeing well-constructed points, but we haven't really seen that kind of arm acceleration or, going like straight winners.
Good return here by Vondroušová to a deep first serve by Jabeur, and that's Jabeur drilling a backhand into the net.
I just feel like she's battling demons all the time inside her. I feel like, the lady that she's been working with as a psychologist is going to, have her work cut out at the moment. It feels like everything is about the mind right now.
15-30 down. Very short return from Vondroušová. Jabeur hits the forehand deep. Now she's got the smash, which she hits to the back of the court. Another one for Jabeur, and she's missed it. She's pushed it wide, and these are 2 more break points to Markéta Vondroušová.
14.
That overhead would have been the right shot to kind of just get some frustration and anger out of you.
Backhand return by Vondroušová, who's now hitting a forehand to the low slicing ball of Jabeur, who's netted with a backhand. Jabeur broken again. Vondroušová has won 3 games in a row from 2-4 to 5-4, Gigi.
Naomi, I know you're emotionally invested in this. You're a good friend of Ons Jabeur, but putting that emotion to one side, these 9 games, how are you seeing this final?
I just think it's who can find their game quickest, because they're just so nervous, aren't they? And at the moment, it's Vondroušová. Ons is she's just walking back to her chair. Then she just looks really down already. You know, her head was down. She was walking slowly, and I just feel like she's probably having flashbacks of last year's final. She almost needs to accept that the worst thing that can happen out there is that she's going to lose the final. Just say that's the worst thing that can happen. I'm going to lose. I'm in the final again. I still get my £1.1 million check. That's my silver lining. And then just say, so that's the worst thing that can happen. Now I'm just going to go for it.
You'd always have to find a positive in a situation, and she will need Russell to find one quickly as Markéta Vondroušová steps up to serve for the first set of this Wimbledon final.
She's had 7 break points in this set, Jabeur. She's taken 2 of them, but she has been broken 3 times. So there should be some encouragement for her that she can at least put pressure on this Vondroušová serve, as the player from the Czech Republic, just 24 years of age, serves for the first set of the ladies' singles final. Forehand Vondroušová to the backhand of Jabeur, and that's into the net.
Oh gosh, her body language is just getting more and more negative, isn't it?
She's very defeated at the moment.
Yeah. Sort of really slumped, and, you know, head bowed, shoulders have slumped.
A string of errors, especially in the last 2 or 3 games. 14 for the set now for Jabeur. Vondroušová misses the first serve. Remember, she's the first unseeded finalist in the ladies' final at Wimbledon since Billie Jean King 60 years ago, and she's 2 points away from the set as Jabeur puts the forehand into the net. And her body language is not at all encouraging if you're hoping to witness the first African and Arab female Grand Slam singles champion at Wimbledon here this afternoon. 5-4, 30 love. Vondroušová with a first serve into the net. Second serve from Vondroušová. Backhand Jabeur, it's wide. She cannot find the court at the moment.
Yeah, 3 unforced errors in a row. And in situations like this, you have to make your opponent get in. You have to get into these points. You have to make sure that you're not giving them any easy mistakes.
3 set points to Vondroušová. Backhand into the net from Jabeur. What a run of points by Markéta Vondroušová. She has won 16 of the last 18 points of the set. She's come from 2-4 down, and she's won the first set by 6-4 in 40 minutes. Kim, Annabelle.
Ons Jabeur just asking the chair umpire if she can leave the court. Just trying to reset her mind for a little bit and have a couple minutes longer to reflect on what's happening and how she's feeling and what she can do differently.
Yeah, she looked so negative. It was hard to watch, actually, at times. You know, how, you know, her game just sort of evaporated down the other end. And it was all about just errors. It's almost like you said, Russell, that she just could not find the court. And she's just not able to find her best tennis out here. There was that one period of time where I felt like she was just starting to hit the ball. They were having longer rallies, and she looked as if she was starting to gain confidence. And then suddenly another miss, and it just went downhill from there. And the first serve percentage is very, very low. Her opponent, on the other hand, gone up to 70% with first serves in, and that's not helping, I don't think, because that's contributing to adding loads of extra pressure on Jabeur. But I think she needs to go into the bathroom now and really shout at herself in the mirror and sort of try and loosen up and sort of maybe try to sort of change her facial expressions.
She may be doing that right now, Gigi. She's not playing at all well, but all credit to Markéta Vondroušová, who has taken her opportunity very, very well indeed. First set in the bag by 6-4.
And we'll be back on centre court very shortly. We'll also be keeping across court 1 very shortly. The wheelchair gentlemen's doubles final will be getting underway, involving Alfie Hewitt and Gordon Reid. But now with the time at 2:49, let's just break away for a couple of minutes to get your latest news headlines with Dan Maudsley.
Listen on BBC Sounds. This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Ukraine's border guard service has confirmed that a number of Wagner mercenaries have now arrived in Belarus from neighbouring Russia. Last month, Wagner fighters were told they could either join the regular Russian army or go to Belarus following their short-lived rebellion. Red alerts are in force for 16 cities across Italy as temperatures climb towards the highest ever recorded in Europe. In the Canary Islands, a forest fire on La Palma has forced the evacuation of at least 500 people and destroyed 11 homes. At least 22 people have been killed by deadly flooding in South Korea. A third day of downpours triggered landslides and caused a major dam in the central North Chungcheong province to overflow. And councils in England and Wales have called for a ban on the sale of disposable vapes by next year. The local government association says the flavours and colourful packaging appeal too strongly to children.
The 151st Open from Royal Liverpool.
Oh, Phil Mickelson! Wow, what a round!
Who will write their name in history and claim the claret jug?
Oh, yes! What a way to do it! Henrik Stenson!
Rory McIlroy is an Open champion.
Wowee, what a way to do it!
Live from Royal Liverpool with Mark Chapman, myself Ian Carter and the team.
Colin Morikawa, golf's newest superstar. What a finish!
Starts Thursday at 1
on 5 Live and BBC Sounds.
Wimbledon 2023 on 5 Live
with Gigi Salmon.
Where Markéta Vondroušová is a set away for being crowned Wimbledon champion. On Jabeur, the 6th seed, took a comfort break at the end of that first set. There was a wonderful reception from the crowd when she returned to centre court. She's stepping up to serve. She plays the backhand volley into the net. Just as I was about to say, Kim Clijsters, this is such an important game now for the Tunisian.
Yeah, this is where she has to try to keep this momentum that's against her, try to keep that as short as possible, because she's now made 5 unforced errors in a row, kind of just handing the end of that first set to Vondroušová. That's 6 mistakes now. Just at this stage of the match in the tournament, you have to kind of make them play, and she just looked very defeated when she got broken at 5-4 in that game, and very bad body language, and it's like the negative emotions are just overpowering her.
It really does feel like that now. She's serving towards the royal box. She misses the big serve down the tee. Vondroušová slightly side on the left foot on the tram line, steps inside the baseline, takes this early with the backhand to the feet, and the off forehand sits up for Vondroušová to flatten out with the backhand down, and the ball sits up. The drop shot from Vondroušová. Here comes Jabeur. She cuts under it. A little slip from the Czech player. She was almost down on one knee as the ball rolled past.
15.
Just shakes out the left leg. Vondroušová has almost like a netting rather than a skirt, just wrapped around the lower half of the white shorts. There's the white visor and the blonde hair piled up on top of her head as it's 30 all.
It was interesting to hear in one of her press conferences talking about how she doesn't have a clothing sponsor, and she's just decided not to just go and buy her own kind of white outfits wherever she could find them online, and
still doesn't have one.
No, it still doesn't. So I'm sure after this event that will change.
Takes that very early on the rise, the backhand return. Vondroušová crunching these backhands back deep into the wing. She's opened up down the line. She takes it, Jabeur, but she misses it.
You can see that she's trying now. She's trying to kind of work her way into the point a little bit, being a little bit more aggressive. But the accuracy is just a little bit off because she's so tight and nervous.
Break point for Markéta Vondroušová to take the first game of the second set, leading by a set to love. Serve down the tee. It's blocked back. It sits up high. Waits for it to lower down, but it's netted inside in from Jabeur. That body language as she just walks quietly around the far net post. She is broken, Annabelle Croft, in the first game of the second set.
Yeah, I don't think she could cut a more forlorn figure as she's walking around the other side of the net, very much the way Serena Williams used to, but the walk is incredibly slow. It's laboured. I mean, she looks like she has the world sitting on her shoulders right now.
Markéta Vondroušová, a little skip after a stop at the chair for a sip of water. We saw this with Aslan Karatsev when he went through to the semi-finals in Australia. Didn't have a clothing sponsor, and his agent actually held out till the end of the season, and he was lucky that his charge continued to do well. And then he got some very good deals. And didn't we see that when Świątek won the French Open, she didn't have a racket sponsor or something?
Yeah,
at
I
the
think
time.
that was right, yeah.
She certainly has one now. Okay, what can she do?
I'm just thinking. I feel bad for her because I understand this feeling. I understand this feeling that, I lost my first 4 Grand Slam finals that I played, and the most frustrating part was that I was never able to be beaten because I was playing a good match. It was because I was so overwhelmed by emotions and I couldn't handle the occasion, and that's why it's frustrating. And I've had a couple of conversations with her about it after her previous Grand Slam here at Wimbledon last year, and just the frustration and the idea of being so tight in a final starts to build up, and you start to make a bigger deal out of it than it is, or that you feed more into it. And it can be very, very frustrating because now these games are going really quickly.
Yeah, Vondroušová is just sort of realising what's going on and trying to capitalise on it down the other end. She's actually growing in stature, isn't she?
Yeah, Jabeur's making it easy for the Czech player right now, who has game points at 40-love for 2-love in the second set, having taken the first set by 6-4. Came in as the world number 42, live ranking 16. Win here, she cracks the top 10. She goes back behind Jabeur. She was down on one knee, but she misses the court.
40-15.
Vondroušová with the white visor on has a little look up and look down, starts the bouncing of the ball, the lefty, tosses up the ball with the right hand, slams the ball and misses by a way down the tee. Has a spare ball tucked into the shorts on the right hand side, has it now and serves down the tee, sits up, cut back through the middle of the court, the off forehand into the corner, in comes Vondroušová, scoops up the backhand down the line, cross court, finds the side edge of the sideline, and a little fist pump from Jabeur.
That's the best shot she's hit the whole match, actually. Just an amazing angle. Almost played on instinct there, where she didn't have to think too much about what she was doing, and she had a target to make and she nailed it. And that's the first bit of positive emotion we've seen from her.
Jabeur box man to a woman on their feet after that point, encouraging their charge. Game point, serve down the tee, deep return, backhand cross court into the middle of the court, the forehand. Cross-court winner.
Standing a little bit closer into the baseline, I have a feeling, just to try and dictate and be the one who's in control of the rallies a little bit more.
From 40-love to deuce, looking to consolidate the break. Misses by an enormous amount on the first serve out wide.
Almost at the baseline.
Yeah. Ball boy back into position at the net. Jabeur is on the baseline. And it's a double fault and a break-back point.
This is what you have to keep telling yourself. Although the momentum is on Vondroušova's side, in moments like this, the energy, she can start to get nervous as well. So you have to stay on top of your game. You have to try to not give your opponent those easy mistakes. It doesn't have to be with your best tennis, but it has to be with grind, and you have to fight and hustle, and that a lot of times can get you back into a match as well.
It's gone.
Going her way, is it? Just even that particular shot, she needed an extra step to get out there for that serve, but she looked as if she was just frozen with the footwork.
Yeah, a 9 out of 10, she would make that any time.
It's a 12th tour level final for Ons Jabeur. It's a 6th for Markéta Vondroušová. 2 grass court titles for Jabeur. Birmingham in 2021, Berlin last year. Of course, back-to-back Wimbledon finals for the Tunisian, the Czech player on the double-handed backhand. Now she takes a hand off the backhand, slices it, draws Jabeur into the inside-in forehand. The pick-up from Vondroušová, short ball, should be dealt with. Is dealt with.
I just feel like she, like you said before, she needs to just smack this really hard, like an Alcaraz one, just rip that forehand once and get that tension out of her arm a little bit.
Yeah, that's what it feels like. She just needs to let rip, even if Vondroušová misses a couple of serves, that when it's out, just hit it.
Yeah.
Serve out wide. The backhand is so low. It brings the Czech player in who's at the net. The lob is up. It's not high enough. It's reached. It's cut over. It's dropped over by Vondroušová, who has a lovely feel. It's pushed deep by Jabeur, who swings into double-handed backhand into the corner. And she wins the point. She raises her fist and she breaks back. It is a game apiece. Second set.
Wow, could that be a massively significant turning point? I'm a bit reluctant to say it might be because I thought that was happening in the first set, but to come back from 40-love down in that last game, that is significant.
Has a huge win in this game for her.
Can she back it up now and hold serve here? Jabeur, first serve out wide, backhand is in play, the forehand back to the backhand, one hand on that, ball sits up for Jabeur to go inside out into the corner, squash shot back off the forehand side deep from Vondroušová, who's really being made to work and made to defend. She's dictating Jabeur, she's defending Vondroušová, it finally breaks down and it's 15-love.
Love.
Takes a deep breath on Jabeur. She steps up, the 28-year-old, to the baseline. Has been as high as number 2. If she wins here, she would go to number 3. And she moves to 30-love. And there's Hawkeye changes the outcome. Hands on hips, Vondroušová.
Looked in, I think.
Yeah, it felt in to me.
She's wide. Call.
Second serve.
Jabeur resets herself, tosses up that ball, serves out wide. The forehand is crunch back. The pace and the power is absorbed by Jabeur, who then forehand inside out, squash shot. She's making Vondroušová move. She's in control of the points.
Love.
I mean, it feels like she's playing tennis with a little dark cloud that's just following her everywhere she's going around this centre court at the moment. No celebration when she's winning. It's just all quite doom and gloom, isn't it?
Was that cartoon Snoopy?
Yeah.
Wasn't there a character in Snoopy who had like a little cloud?
Rain cloud that's just following her around. I just wish she'd just sort of let the sun come out a little bit and loosen up.
Lovely low return, but it's redirected down the line from Jabeur. Jabeur sort of half volleys on the backhand side from the baseline, then draws the error and then moves to 40-love.
One-handed backhand. Single-handed, exactly. I haven't seen that too many times from Jabeur.
40-love.
I wonder whether she's hit her lowest point. That 1-love, 40-love down, and now it's about, right, I'm just going to go for this.
Game points inside the baseline. Oh. There we go. She's got the lead on the leaderboard. She was a breakdown, she breaks back, she holds serve, and Naomi Brody, just those first 3 games of the second set has been a sort of mini emotional roller coaster in itself.
It has, and I'm hoping by almost going an early breakdown there, it's just kind of given her a bit of an electric shock, jolted her back into the moment, because the last 2 games she's found herself, hasn't she? As you said, she's moving Vondroušová around the court. She's actually extending the rallies but doing more with her shots. So just seemingly as her back was against the ropes, hopefully she's just forced this level out of herself. She's still, as we say, not being, I don't know, her usual smiley, relaxed self. I don't know if we're going to see that in a Grand Slam, maybe until she's won one at least anyway. But fist pumps are back out and the energy's back up.
And she's got the scoreboard lead. We are underway with the gentlemen's wheelchair doubles final on court 1, being watched by David Law.
And we are watching Alfie Hewitt and Gordon Reid, the top seeds in the first game against Takuya Miki of Japan and his compatriot Takeda Oda, who is going to be the opponent of Alfie Hewitt in the singles final tomorrow. Early stages here, 30-15 for Hewitt and Reid. Good crowd on court number 1, really getting behind the British pair, who are trying to win the 3rd leg of the calendar slam, having already won the Australian Open and the French Open. First game, 30-15, Hewitt and Reid.
David, thank you very much. Markéta Vondroušová stepping up to serve. Didn't play for 6 months last year due to injuries. The forehand into the backhand wing of Jabeur and cross court and slightly wide from the Tunisian. And she's gone for the challenge because Louise Asmar Engzel did the hand motion as if to say, well, I think that one's 50-50.
Ons just kind of wanted some reassurance.
What was that?
15-11.
Vondroušová looks up, looks down. Used her protected ranking at the start of the year, Vondroušová, to get her ranking back up. Just her second time on centre court. Serves down the tin. She has the first set and she goes drop shot. Here comes Jabeur on the backhand side, floats it deep. Oh!
Gosh, that was much better movement from Jabeur. I mean, that was living dangerously. It was so close to that baseline. Well played. Chair umpire just turns around and gives the line judge on the baseline there a really good nod. Like, yes, well done. That was a good call.
Serve down the tee, the off-backhand return. Jabeur with the forehand places it very deep, scooped up, sits up, brought down, backhand down the line, Jabeur. Jabeur with the forehand goes cross-court on the angle. A floated ball that's high. It sits up, brought down, flattened out down the line by Jabeur. On the run, Vondroušová finds the tram lines, 15-30.
Well, this is much better, isn't it, from Jabeur?
15-30.
Really getting the ball into the corners, moving it around, getting Vondroušová on the defensive a little bit more.
The winner will become the 59th Women's Singles Grand Slam winner and a 24th here at Wimbledon. Centre of the box serve, the off-forehand return from Jabeur. Jabeur with a double-handed backhand. That one sits up a little bit. It pushes Vondroušová back. The drop shot. Here comes Vondroušová. The backhand cross-court, double-handed, into the corner, wins the point.
It's risky, these drop shots, isn't it, for both of them? I mean, if they don't get it spot on, the opponent's going to track it down and potentially hit a winner. And yet it's such a big part of both of their games, you know, in terms of the tactics.
Yeah, Vondroušová anticipated that so well. She... just a fraction of a second, and she was right up there and has really good hands to not just get that drop shot back, but then actually do something with it so that Ons doesn't have a chance to hit it back into the open court.
Serve down the tee, the off back. Oh, it's a deep return from Jabeur. She brings up the error and she brings up a breakpoint opportunity.
And that's one of the best backhand returns she's really struck. It was struck with purpose, authority. She got hold of that ball and she knew what she was trying to do with it. That was a bit braver, actually.
Breakpoint for a 3-1 lead in the second set. 58 minutes on the clock. Serve down the tee. It's cut back through the middle of the court. The forehand loopy and into the corner from Vondroušová, who attacks on the inside out forehand and she misses. She stepped in, she missed on the big forehand, and Jabeur has the break in a 3-1 lead.
I almost wish Ons would be like a little bit more, kind of show her personality a little bit at these moments.
Yeah, I agree.
It would help her. You know, she's kind of sticking to kind of business and focus on the next point. But I think so, even if she would have kind of given it a big come on or like a fist pump or...
As a courtesy to both players, please do not pull out.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, that told them off. Yeah, I think she's had a bit of stage fright out here, actually, it seems like.
Yeah. Serve down the tee. Jabeur has to step back into this forehand, drops it a little bit short. The forehand cross got onto the service box and down the line and wide.
That's the shot that's either made it a couple of times or just, you know, not there today. And I think that's the frustration for her. She just doesn't trust herself at the moment.
Jabeur is the first woman to reach back-to-back Wimbledon finals since Serena Williams did it in 2018 and 2019. Takes this serve very early with the backhand. Vondroušová very aggressive off the serve.
Oh, that was impressive.
Love 13.
And again, Ons just looking very slumped and a bit negative out here.
Body language can look very negative very quickly with Jabeur.
I think that's what she's been working on the most with her team. You know, and she said it's crazy how much she's worked on herself.
Serve out wide, has a deep serve into the corner, redirected down the line, squash shot back from Vondroušová, gets back into position, she plays another backhand, and then it's to the forehand ring, and she's moving side to side, stretching the court, using the court, taking it out of the reach of the Czech player, and it's 15-30.
15-13.
I think, like you said, Kim, it looks like she knows exactly what she's meant to be doing, and she does feel like the better player. It's just trying to string it all together and actually do it and execute.
Yeah.
It's one of the hardest things to do.
In a Grand Slam final.
Exactly.
Forehand, oh, that was flat and slam back from Vondroušová. Oh, goes drop shot, but she misses it.
Well, that's a gift, isn't it? Yet again.
30-all.
Right. She was also so close in that first set. She could have been up 4-0. It was 2-all, and that kind of changes your whole energy as well. Whereas if she can, you know, it's now 30-all, but she's up 3-1. If she can get a couple of points here and maybe go up 4-1, it will give her a little bit of an ease.
Vondroušová being very aggressive, camped inside the baseline, slamming these backhands into the corner. 3 crunching backhands from the Czech player. Break point to break back and get us back on serve.
Yeah, it was beautiful. Really kind of used her legs well on that last backhand and really kind of held her body position and transferred the weight forward into the shot. That was a stunning shot.
Break point, serve down the tee, the backhand sort of off balance, but she finds the court. Another backhand on the stretch from Vondroušová. She gets back into position, hits another backhand again on the stretch. She's got to hit another backhand low over the net and the slice, and she's got to hit another backhand. She takes one hand off it, it sits up. The backhand is scooped cross court from Jabeur. The forehand up the line from Vondroušová. Cut back from Jabeur. It's long, and we are back on serve. Oh, would you believe? The twists and tails, the ups and downs, the roller coaster that is this women's final. And that's Jabeur, you may have just heard, yelling towards her box.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised really, because I think she just feels like she's had so many opportunities and she just cannot find her A game. It's like it's just been a total battle the whole time since she's been on this court. So it's been very, very difficult emotionally for her. I mean, she's almost slumped here in... Well, she's not in tears, but I wouldn't have been surprised if she was in tears.
Close to, yeah. And when she was walking over to her seats, just dropping the racket and kind of being like disgusted by her weapon at the moment. She needs, she's still up 3-2. It's forget about what's happened so far and just really, like I said, we said it before, kind of fake it a little bit. Even if you're not playing well, try to fake it. Try to make sure that your body language, that you're showing your opponent that you're fighting, that you're, and not just with your shots, but also with the way that you walk back to your seat, the way that you walk to the service baseline, and so just those kind of little things make a big difference for your opponent as well. And it's not just the battles within your own head, but you have to think about how it comes across to your opponent.
The semi-final between Surrey and Somerset for the right to face Essex is just getting underway. Ball-by-ball commentary because it's T20 finals day on Sports Extra. And the other big news from Edgbaston, Lanky the giraffe has won the mascot race, but apparently there was a clear false start. So controversy in the mascot race at Edgbaston, but surely a giraffe with those legs, I mean, that's going to have an advantage in all the other mascots. But congratulations to Lanky. Ball-by-ball commentary on Sports Extra. 11 minutes past 3 in the afternoon, an hour and 4 minutes on the clock. Markéta Vondroušová, 2-3, we're back on serve, 15-love. Women's final, a backhand cross-court from Jabeur. Jabeur with her backhand places it down the line to the service box, and the slice in the centre of the court, and the off-backhand, and then the forehand now from Jabeur, going cross-court deep into the backhand wing of Vondroušová, and the forehand goes to the forehand wing, and Vondroušová scoops up that ball.
Oh, no.
And that sums it up, Annabelle.
Yeah, I mean... I think she's in two minds, isn't she? Does she just go for broke and try to be aggressive and try to really win the point? Or does she trade, try and get a game together, get the rhythm going a little bit more and more trust in the ground strokes? But it's caught between the two at the moment.
And after losing that first point of this game, she also kind of told her whole team to kind of just stop talking to me. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to look at you. Just leave me alone. Yeah. There's too many triggers in her head at the moment that are just making it all too complicated.
Vondroušová will be battling her own demons out there. She too has a chance to become a Grand Slam champion for the first time. Settling herself at 30-15 and 2-3. Misses off the first serve out wide. That's 3 serves missed in a row. So Jabeur will take a step inside the baseline, try and put some pressure on her opponent. Net is clipped, so she'll take that ball back and have another go. And again, Jabeur steps in, that wide stance, slight knee bend for the Tunisian, leaning forward, bouncing on her toes. And the net getting in the way again. So it's as you were. Looking for third time lucky off the second serve. Vondroušová gets it, kicks up, sits up, deep back down. She has to go down on one leg to get the ball back, Vondroušová. Then she goes inside in with the forehand. The backhand is very deep from Jabeur. It clips top of the net from Vondroušová. It's scooped up by Jabeur. It's back up the line. It's volleyed into the court for the winner and for the fist bump from the Tunisian.
I don't know if I'm feeling her energy, but I want her to jump in before the point starts and kind of get that energy
joyful.
up. Yeah,
joyfulness going.
Just feel the tension.
Step a little closer into the court. Just give your opponent a little bit of a different look.
Second serve, she's on the baseline, plays the off backhand to the inside in forehand from Vondroušová, and it's loose.
Jabeur challenging the ball on the left far sideline.
But immediately, Vondroušová was going to challenge if the call hadn't come.
I don't think this one's made it. I think it's just missed, and that's kind of been the story of the day, hasn't it?
40-30.
A very slow walk back in position from Jabeur.
Markéta Vondroušová looking for just an 8th career Wimbledon win, and boy, would it be a biggie. Swings the backhand, cross-court to the forehand down the line from Jabeur. Jabeur with a double-handed backhand through the centre of the court. The forehand not hit cleanly. The drop shot from Jabeur, that sits up nicely for Vondroušová, who's able to plant the ball right down at the feet of Jabeur. She closes it out. We level up at 3 games all now. All eyes on Jabeur. What a game coming up now. As she looks to the back of the court, she rolls her eyes. She takes a couple of seconds while Vondroušová changes her racket. And Jabeur gets ready to serve. And just again, Kim, it's the body language. She's at the back of the court, hands on hips, shaking her head.
Yeah, she's had so many opportunities and that she feels like she hasn't been able to take. And I think that's probably the main thought in her head, is like, I'm missing all these important moments, and I'm missing all these shots, and I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing, and why can't I do it now? And it's the negative thoughts that are taking over at the moment, and because you can see it from the moment that she misses a shot, there is negative body language, but then when she wins a big game, she's not showing anything. So the negative emotions are at the moment taking over.
Jabeur camped inside the baseline, crunches the off forehand, the score shot from Vondroušová, the volley winner from Jabeur.
I almost wish we had no window in this commentary box so that we could yell out a little bit and kind of get her going. And
you might be told to be quiet by
probably.
Louise Asmar-Engzel in the chair.
Probably.
15 love.
I think it's still the player in me that wants to be too involved.
Jabeur reaches up, the roof is on centre court, the serve down the tee, backhand off the return, another backhand from Vondroušová, who can open up a forehand now, go cross court and try and draw the Tunisian in, who just took one step in off the backhand and the ball was dumped at the bottom of the net.
I think it's the way she slumps her body after she misses a shot. It kind of adds to all the sort of negativity. And,
it's like an instant. It's her natural reaction is very negative at the moment.
It's almost like, I knew that would
happen. That's why,
like,
you have to fake it a little bit. Like, don't show your opponent the negative stuff, and it's easier said than done. But you just have to remind yourself of it to sometimes fake it a little bit, that you're actually feeling okay.
Oh, that's a knifed backhand return, and another one from Vondroušová, and it draws the error.
She almost needs a bit of the touch of the old Carlos Alcaraz about her right now, who's just so good at putting any shots that he misses behind him and then bouncing around and showing positivity. But, this is getting really close to the finish line if she doesn't find something pretty soon.
And all credit to Vondroušová, who's not giving her anything at the moment, playing really good tennis.
Yeah, you don't get any emotion. You're not quite sure what's going on inside the head of Vondroušová. Well, I think we can tell that time because she gestures how awful that return of serve was.
30.
That's a 78 miles per hour second serve from Jabeur.
Up goes Jabeur, who serves down the tee. The serve is too good, and it's game point. A point now to keep the scoreboard lead.
40-30.
3 games all second set. Vondroušová by a set to love. Jabeur serves down the tee. The backhand's in play. Mid-court ball being very aggressive. Inside in goes Jabeur, who's inside the baseline. Goes forehand, cross-court, back behind her opponent. And boy, how important, Naomi, was it for Jabeur that, yes, we're still getting the negative body language, but to hold serve and just to look up at the scoreboard on serve, but she's got the scoreboard lead.
Huge hold of serve that for Jabeur, wasn't it? Because it could very easily have been game, set and match in just a couple of more minutes. If she didn't get that one, as you say, she's just got this inner turmoil, this battle with herself, hasn't she, going on? She's trying to put the things into practice. We said that was going to be so important today, that she's been working on with her mental coach, but so far she just the situation, the match, the occasion, it's just becoming too much again for her, isn't it? And she's going to kick herself after this. Bartoli was saying to us earlier, wasn't she, Gigi, how you want to leave the court knowing that you've done everything that you can, you've put your game out there, you've fought for every point, and you just don't want to have those regrets other than my opponent was too good today. And in some ways, Markéta is too good. She's playing brilliantly, but would this match be different if Ons was able to be positive and really put her best foot forwards out there? So still battling within herself, so hopefully she'll come out on top of this one. She's got time to still turn it around. And also, Kim, I think you should just stick your head out the box, Kim, into the area next door, because the window's actually open.
I've thought about it.
When Ons is next down here, I think
she
you should
might
stick
get
your head
carted
out.
off, and we need her in the commentary box. Back to centre court very shortly, but David Law, early stages of the final on court 1.
And perhaps Alfie Hewitt and Gordon Reid need a little bit of help too, because they're 2-love down and 3 break points against them as well, against the exceptionally good Japanese pair of Takuya Miki and Takita Oda, who's in the singles final as well. Only 17 years of age. What a talent. 3-love up they are now.
David, thank you very much. Really, really such a talent. Unbelievable. The prospects and the talent coming through in the Japanese wheelchair tennis players. We'll keep a close eye on events on court 1. But here, Markéta Vondroušová, second Grand Slam final. She was only 19 in 2019 when she got to the final and lost to Ash Barty in Paris. And she says she's learnt a lot since then. She was very young then, quite naive then. Now the grand old age of 24. Oof. And she just goes big and deep and misses off the second serve. She has a scattering of tattoos on her arms, and she says that if she wins the title, she'll reward herself with another. She has some ladies in Prague, female tattooists that she goes to, a range of them.
So she's going to have another one.
Yeah, he would celebrate with a tattoo. Backhand swung cross court, game points for 4-all.
She has this one tattoo. It looks like there's a line that runs through her. It looks like one of my kids drew on the wall.
Yeah, I agree. It's a bit of doodling, isn't it?
Maybe she went in and said, I'll have some doodling.
I wonder what I'm just curious what the story behind it is.
She says she largely uses female tattoo artists as the backhand off the returner serve flies long, and that's a very quick and a very comfortable holder serve for the Czech player for 4-all.
4 games on second set.
I wonder where the one that says where there's water, there's flowers. Do you know where that one is? Is it on her arm?
It's just above her elbow. Okay. No rain, no flowers.
Yeah. No rain, no flowers.
No rain, no flowers. Serve out wide. The backhand's in play down the line. It's a little bit short and looking to come in off that ball. Jabeur next.
But she hasn't been able to get that doubt out of her system. It's just very tense still.
Love 15. Backhand's in place, sits up to be brought down into the corner off the forehand from Jabeur, who smashes the ball out of the air, crunches it into the corner and takes the point.
15-all.
Well, I was a little bit nervous for her there, trying to go after that high ball, which easily could have missed, but she did a good job smashing that one away. I think everything has felt stilted and disjointed today, so there's, it's really difficult to watch, actually, because
even after that smash, like no reaction of her, nothing, just go on, get the ball from the ball boy and on to the next point. Whereas if she would have missed it, there's so much more negative reactions than, there you go, then drops the racket.
The backhand is winning a fair few points for Vondroušová, and it's 15-30, 4-all, massive point coming up. Reaching up for the first serve, gets it down the tee. The backhand will be in play. It should be dealt with by Jabeur, but she reads it with the backhand. She has to play the extra volley and she wins the point.
Well, I was a little more confident, wasn't it? It's almost like back is up against the wall right now, and she's got to come up with something special just to get anything or any last chance to throw at this Wimbledon final.
30-all, 4-all, second set. Cut back with the forehand slice, draws the error, break point.
30-14.
This, if she converts here, would leave Markéta Vondroušová serving for the Wimbledon title. Missed first serve down the tee, heading towards the backhand of the Czech player. The Czech player is behind the baseline. Now she'll step inside the baseline with the forehand. Oh, she leathers that ball. It comes back inside out. Forehand through the centre of the court. Inside into the net. Goes on Jabeur. And Markéta Vondroušová breaks for 5-4 in the second set. Annabel Croft has left us because she's part of the presentation party. She's got to get in position in case Vondroušová does hold her nerve and serve this out. But difficult, Naomi Brodie, to watch on Jabeur out there carrying the weight of the world on her shoulders.
It is difficult to see, and again, I think she just wants it too much, doesn't she? This is her dream, the biggest thing that she could ever achieve, and it's been within touching distance now twice. We saw Vondroušová get very tight trying to close the match out against Svitolina. So again, though, we look up at Ons and she's just sat there, her fingers over her eyes. She's probably trying to hold in the tears, but if she could just think to herself, you know, force Vondroušová to win this match in this final game. I'm not going to hand it to her. I'm going to make every point as difficult as I can. The crowd are desperate to get behind Jabeur here as well. She's just almost beaten herself, hasn't she?
She has to think now, Kim Clijsters, that she still has a chance, because Markéta Vondroušová will be going through her own emotions as she tries to serve out for a Grand Slam title.
She will, and you know, you try to tell yourself, make these shots, make her play, make her win it. If she's good enough to do it, make her do it at this stage of the match. But I don't know, so far, even just her body language, leaving the seat and you know, getting ready to return, there's nothing positive coming from her at the moment. So. Yeah.
Forehand cross-court, mid-court ball from Vondroušová goes back to the double-handed backhand. That's loose and long from Ons Jabeur. Markéta Vondroušová, the 24-year-old, is 3 points from the Wimbledon title. The sun is shining. It's lightened up under the roof on centre court. Hour and 18 minutes on the clock, 3:25 in the afternoon. Vondroušová serves down. It's sliced back off the forehand side into the corner. The pickup doesn't quite make it from Jabeur. 2 points needed for the win and to be crowned champion.
30 love.
The crowd all settle. Vondroušová bouncing the ball, settling herself, winding up, tossing the ball up at 30 love and serving out wide. The forehand comes back to the backhand that's scooped up down the line. The backhand swung cross-court from Jabeur. The squash shot from Vondroušová. The backhand down the line from Jabeur. The backhand off the one hand this time. Inside in goes on Jabeur. On Jabeur with the forehand, slams that ball wide. And after an hour and 19 minutes, championship points for the world number 42, Markéta Vondroušová.
I don't know if it's the sister of Vondroušová that's on the front row of the box, but she's already in tears.
Her husband can't look. He's got his hand over his mouth. A life-changing moment for the young lady from the Czech Republic who has championship points. 40 love, 5-4. Vondroušová reaches up and serves and misses. Looking to be the third Czech woman to win the Wimbledon title. Jabeur on the baseline, 5-4, 40 love. Vondroušová tosses the ball up. It's a double fault.
14 for 10.
Both players settle. The crowd waits. The photographers all pointed towards Markéta Vondroušová. Second championship point. Serves down the tee. Drifts over. The pickup up the line. Goes for the cross. Got the volley winner from Markéta Vondroušová, who is the Wimbledon champion. She's down on her back on centre court. She cannot believe what she has just done. But Markéta Vondroušová, straight sets in her 5th Wimbledon appearance, has defeated Ons Jabeur in straight sets. An hour and 20 minutes takes the applause from the crowd. She cannot believe what she has done. 6-4, 6-4. She is the Wimbledon champion. She's down on her knees, Kim. She is looking down at the grass. I think she is trying to let it sink in what she has just done.
Yeah, this is where all the emotions of, you know, the last years of the good and the bad, right? The surgery, the hustle, the questions, the doubt, everything comes together, and it can be a little bit overwhelming. But to see, how composed she stayed throughout this match, and played an opponent that wasn't nearly, to their best level, but she just stayed very, very, very composed and just didn't give her any easy mistakes when it was needed. So a really, really great match, and from Vondroušová, an incredible tournament for her to be holding up the trophy here.
It's so hard to look at Karim Kamoun, the husband of Jabeur, with his head in his hands in the players' box. He's been comforted by Melanie, the sports psychologist of Jabeur, as Markéta Vondroušová is asking, how do I get up to the player box? And the security guard saying, well, I'm going to help you and we're going to find a way for you. Her husband only flew in yesterday. Imagine if they hadn't found a cat sitter. He wouldn't be here. Now she's going along under the BBC box. She's just gone past Chris Evert. She's now going through a few spectators. She has a towel wrapped on her shoulder. Meanwhile, they're getting the stage set for the trophy presentation. She'll go past the Jabeur team, and Naomi, wonderful scenes. What an amazing moment for this 24-year-old, the heartbreak of all the injuries. She's now the Wimbledon champion.
It's just beautiful to watch, isn't it? It's as Kim said, this is what you play for, this is what you work so hard for. She's had the surgeries on the wrist, she's been out injured, she wasn't able to play here last year. She's just up in the box now. So many tears, there's not a dry eye in either of the boxes, but it's amazing, isn't it? Because they're so close together here on centre court, the two teams, and it just shows the two sides of victory and defeat. Jabeur in tears sat on her chair, and Markéta Vondroušová in tears celebrating. All her family, her friends, her husband who's flown over to watch the final today.
It's their wedding anniversary tomorrow. Boy, that's going to be a celebration, isn't it?
Amazing.
And she's now embracing her husband as Martina Navratilova and Billie Jean King, leaning forward from the royal box and looking up at the celebrations. It's quite incredible. But then, Kim, you have the stark contrast to Jabeur just leaning forward in her chair, very emotional, lost for words, a third Grand Slam final and a second here at Wimbledon.
It is. It's the part about sports that is so tough at times as well. It's so beautiful, but so hard. And Ons was, in a lot of people's minds, the favorite for this match today, and probably in hers as well. And coming out here as the favorite was a new kind of situation for her. And unfortunately, she wasn't able to do it. But she'll definitely be disappointed for a while after this loss, and starts to question whether why am I overwhelmed with all these negative emotions when I get to a big stage in the tournament. And it's very unfortunate and sad to see, but beautiful on the other side of the court when you see the emotions of Vondroušová with her family and with her team. And it's in one court you see both extremes.
And we're going to be hearing from them very shortly, because they will be speaking to Annabel Croft with everything Russell set for the trophy presentation.
Yes, it's that time of the afternoon again when the presentation of the trophy, the Venus Rosewater dish, is made to the champion. Sally Bolton, the chief executive of the All England Club, is already on the green carpet. The trophy and the runner-up trophy are on the table with its Union flag as a tablecloth. And we're waiting for some of the other dignitaries now, including Her Royal Highness, the Princess of Wales.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time now for the trophy presentation for the ladies' singles. Please welcome onto centre court Her Royal Highness, the Princess of Wales, patron of the All England Lawn Tennis Club.
The Princess of Wales greeting some of the ball boys and ball girls.
Chairman of the All England Lawn Tennis Club, and Sandy Proctor, President of the LTA.
Jabeur just drying her eyes, standing up and watching the arrival of the Princess of Wales. Elena Rybakina on the other side of the umpire's chair, just removing her sweatbands, getting everything right for this trophy presentation.
Not Rybakina.
First, please show
that
your
was last year.
appreciation for the chair umpire, Louise Ismar Engsel.
And here's our chair umpire. First ladies singles final at Wimbledon for Louise Azamar Engzel from Sweden.
Now to the runner-up, Jabeur.
She is waving generously on Jabeur at the end of what I'm sure has been a crushing afternoon for her. She'd set her heart on the Venus Rosewater dish, but instead for the second year in a row, it's the runner-up trophy, and there she burst into tears. The emotion of the occasion is just too much for her. She'd given everything towards this Wimbledon run. She's beaten some amazing players, Grand Slam champions Bianca Andreescu, Petra Kvitova, Elena Rybakina and Aryna Sabalenka. Maybe that took its toll in the final here against Markéta Vondroušová. She's crying into her hands. And she's waving to thank the crowd for their sympathy and their very, very warm applause. They are hoping that she will be a very, very popular champion here one year. But it's not going to be in 2023.
And the ladies singles champion for 2023, Markéta Vondroušová.
The smile is on the face of the player from the Czech Republic, whose wrist was in a cast this time last year as she came to watch her friend compete in the qualifying competition just a week before getting married. She's presented with the Venus Rosewater dish by the Princess of Wales. Markéta Vondroušová becomes the first unseeded champion in the Open era in the ladies' singles at Wimbledon. And Jabeur will talk to Annabelle first of all. Let's wish her well over the next couple of minutes.
Ons, I know how painful this is for you. So incredibly difficult to put into words. I know how much you wanted this title, but just please, just give us your thoughts.
I will try to speak because this is very, very tough, but and I'm gonna look ugly in the photo, so it's not gonna help. I think this is the most painful loss of my career, so. First, I want to say congratulations to Markéta and her team for this amazing tournament. You're an amazing player, and I know you had a lot of injuries, so I'm very happy for you. I don't know, I'm just, it's gonna be a tough day today for me, but I'm not gonna give up, and I'm gonna come back stronger and win the Grand Slam one day.
And despite the loss, Ons, I hope you should be so proud of how well you played during the course of the 2 weeks. You beat 4 former Grand Slam champions to get to your second Wimbledon final.
Yeah, it was an amazing tournament for me. I wished I continue until the end. I want to thank my team for always believing in me, and we're gonna make it one day, I promise you.
And just finally, I think you only have to listen to how much these people love you and how much they love your game. And how much you still inspire many women and children and people all around the world.
Thank you guys for coming. Thank you for cheering for me. The energy is amazing from day one here at Wimbledon. Really appreciate your support. It's been a tough journey, but that's tennis, and I promise I'll come back one day and win this tournament.
On Jabeur, ladies and gentlemen.
And now the champion, Markéta Vondroušová, is being ushered forward, and she too will talk to Annabelle.
Wow, what a wonderful tournament and what a wonderful match you played today. Just sum up your emotions. The first unseeded woman to win here at Wimbledon.
I don't really know what's happening now. It's amazing feeling, and yeah, I mean, Ons, congratulations, and you are such an inspiration for all of us, and I hope you're gonna win one day. You know, you're an amazing person, and congrats, guys, you are doing amazing job. Yeah, after everything I've been through, you know, I had a cast last year this time, so I'm just, you know, it's amazing that I can stand here and hold this, you know, it's, tennis is crazy.
It certainly is. I mean, it's hard to believe you were here watching last year. You were a tourist in London. You had wrist surgery. As you say, your hand was in a cast. How did you come back and do what you've just done in this last 2 weeks, beating 5 seeded players along the way?
I don't really know, you know, the comebacks aren't easy, you know, you never know what to expect, and yeah, after the second one, you know, I was playing the smaller tournaments, and you know, I was hoping I can come back at this level, and you know, now this is happening, so I wanna thanks to my box, you know, all of you guys are amazing, you know, my little sister, she's crying out there, so
We've got to mention your box because, of course, Stepan, your husband, has made it here. He was cat-sitting for you back home for 2 weeks, and he managed to find another cat-sitter. So how special was it that he made it here today?
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing. Tomorrow is our first anniversary of, you know, our wedding, so that's the present.
I hope he's going to treat you.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing to have you guys, you know, being here with me, and I just enjoyed the 2 weeks so much. You know, it was exhausting, but I'm just, you know, so grateful and proud of myself.
Well, you certainly should be. Now, just before we let you go, I know you're a bit partial to some tattoos, and I understand you're going to have another one to celebrate. Have you decided what you're going to have?
I don't know, but I made a bet with my coach. He said if I win a Grand Slam, he's going to get one also, so I think we're going to go tomorrow.
Okay, you're going to go tomorrow. Oh, my goodness. Well, good luck with that. And just finally, how are you going to treat yourself and perhaps your team as well tonight?
I think I'm going to have some beer maybe because it was really, you know, exhausting 2 weeks, and, you know, I just tried to keep myself together for the few last days, and I was just so nervous before the game, and I'm just really grateful, and thank you guys, everyone, for support and, you know, coming here.
Your Wimbledon champion for 2023, Markéta Vondroušová.
Markéta Vondroušová, the champion at Wimbledon. We have had a fair few unseeded Grand Slam champions in women's events in recent years. Emma Raducanu was the last at the US Open in just 2021. But that was a bit of Wimbledon history, her winning the title here as an unseeded player. World number 42, but that's going to change dramatically after today. She's posing for some photographs alongside Ons Jabeur, who would much rather that the spotlight was left to Vondroušová now. Jabeur, who composed herself brilliantly to deliver a few thoughts to Annabelle there, I'm sure will get off court as soon as she is able to. What a bitter blow for her to lose that final and to play so far below the standards that we know she's capable of. That's what's really, really going to hurt, isn't it? Gigi, Kim, Naomi, the fact that she made 31 unforced errors, her serve let her down. It wasn't anything like the Jabeur that we are used to watching.
It wasn't, and she's going to be... I don't think she's going to sleep much tonight, to be honest. A lot of the unforced errors I think she was forced into making. Markéta has this brilliant defence, doesn't she? She has those extreme slice shots off both sides. She gets really good depth and neutralises down the middle, so you then don't have much angle to play with on your next shot. You're constantly having to restart the point over and over, but Ons absolutely didn't play her best, and for that she's really going to kick herself. It just mentally became too much, like it did in last year's final too.
Yeah, it's very unfortunate, and I think the most disappointing of it all is that again, you're not able to play your best when it's needed, not just for yourself, but you want to do it for your team, you want to do it for the tournament, for the fans in the building, and it's very, very unfortunate that it's in her mind at the moment. I think it's becoming a bigger problem than it is not being able to rise up to the occasion when you have to. And she was able to step up so well in the semi-final when she was down and in the quarterfinals. And then when you're not able to do it in the final, it's just, very, very disappointing.
So how do you get past that? Because it only gets bigger. So she'll get to another Grand Slam final. We'll be like, oh, well, now this is one. You talked to yourself about the 4 Slam finals before you came through and won. So what was it for you that changed? How can she change? Because the expectation is just going to grow.
And the biggest problem about it is you cannot practice this. You cannot go to the practice court, or you cannot go to talk to your psychologist about these things. You can explain it, but there's nobody who can explain it to you and kind of make you realize like what is the best thing for you to do in that moment. And you can only kind of put yourself out there, and she's gotten fitter, she's gotten stronger, she's stepped out of her comfort zone a little bit with becoming more of an aggressive player, and we saw that in the previous matches, but we weren't able to see that today. And it's not easy. The only thing she can do is put herself in the situation again where she gets into that semi-final and then potential a final, and then try to do things a little bit differently. And I still think, and I believe that even if you're not playing your best, you cannot show your opponent that you're not feeling good. And you have to fake it until you make it. It's easier said than done, but at least you can kind of trick yourself into kind of loosening your energy a little bit. And just the negative emotions took over.
She's either making a phone call or listening to some voicemails on her phone. The majority of her team have left the box on Jabeur, and Russell, in her encore interview with Annabelle, she described it as the most painful loss of her career.
Yeah, and you can see it all over her face, can't you? And to see her play the way she did was a big disappointment to all of us who are hoping for a very, very high quality final that would quite possibly go 3 sets. Markéta Vondroušová just played with a lot of calmness, didn't she? She was nervous to start with, but she just kept on doing what she's been doing, kept a very, very good level throughout the final, and that was enough to win in straight sets. And this is a player who I think we have felt for a while could well be a Grand Slam champion at some point. We didn't think it would come here at Wimbledon initially because she'd never really taken to this surface before this year, but she was on people's list of outside bets for the French Open, wasn't she, on quite a regular basis because of the way she's played. She's struggled with those 2 wrist operations which have held her back, but she's a devastating player on her day, and she's come all the way through, and she can't really believe it either. But she's getting used to the feel of that Venus Rosewater dish that she's going to have to give back very, very soon, but she'll get the 3/4 size replica trophy. She'll get her hands on the winner's check, and she'll be a Wimbledon champion for life.
The Princess of Wales was just having quite a long chat with Ons Jabeur as Markéta Vondroušová is towards our commentary box now. She's going to celebrate with beer and tattoos. There you go.